Hello, and welcome to Comtek's Flash Game Units. Now, the first game we're going to be building is a platformer, and even if you don't want to build a platformer, it'll get you used to the Flash ActionScript language, as well as the interface. So make sure you select ActionScript 2.0, and when it loads, go up to Modify, Document. Make sure your dimensions are at 550 pixels by 400, just for simplicity's sake. Step 2, we're going to create a rectangle. So, choose your color. I'm going to go with a nice red. And I don't want a border. Good. Draw your character. And select him, right click, convert to symbol, and we're just going to name him Char. Now, make sure that your registration is set in the bottom part of this grid, and hit OK. As you can see, he is now a symbol, and is no longer technically a box. Now if we go up to the instance name and rename him Char again, he now exists in the library as Char. If we right-click him and go to Actions, we'll be able to see all the code that applies to him. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to rename this layer that he's on, Char, so we know where he is, and we're going to create two more layers. Second layer we're going to call Ground, and this is where he's going to walk. Third layer is called the VCam. And this is how we're going to get the camera to follow him. But we'll worry about that in a second. Go back to Char, right-click, Actions, and we're going to write some code. Your teacher will be supplying you with most of the code you'll need for this game, which I partially have open in this Notepad document. Now we're going to select it all, copy it, paste it in, and I'll explain how it works. OnClip event refers to how often the code will run. Enter frame refers to the current FPS of the game. Current FPS, as you can see down in the bottom here, is 24 FPS. This game will run 24 times a second. Now, this if statement here says that every time the right key is pressed, we're going to increase our character's X position by 7. And similarly to the left key, we're going to decrease it by 7. Now, the code, if statements work by running all the code in between these brackets, as does this onClip event. So, if we close this window, go up to Control, and Test Scene, by pressing left and right, we can move along the X-axis. We cannot move up and down, and we can easily leave the window, but we'll fix this. Next, what we're going to do is make sure we are on the ground layer, and we're going to draw another box. Let's choose something different this time. Let's go with a brownish color. Draw your box, make sure to cover the whole screen, and just let it go. Now, we're going to select all of it, right-click, convert to symbol, and we're going to name it Ground. Make sure that your registration is in the top left corner this time. Now, instance name, we're going to once again name it Ground. The position of ground is shown as -1 and 288. So, if we want the character to stand on top of him, we need to change their Y's to be the same, 288. Now they are touching, and if we run the game again, it kind of looks like we're running on the ground. Lastly, we're going to get the VCam working. Now, since no one really knows how it works anymore, we're just going to cheat a little. Delete the one we created, open up any of the example Flash games you've been given, and copy theirs. Now right-click one of your layers and click Paste Layer, and the VCam will now be imported. Make sure it's on the bottom one so you don't get any weird visuals. Now, if we simply run the game, we can see that the VCam is now centered on our character and follows us wherever we go. Your game should now be working for the basic functions, and in the next video we'll cover jumping, gravity, and whatever else we get onto. Make sure from this point on to always know what layer you're working in. The Char layer is only for characters, the ground layer is only for ground, and never touch the VCam layer. So click here to put a lock on it.